All right, gang, we're back, and everything is so freaking awesome. We are in the climax of all the investigations, and everything we are finding out is so interesting. And there's something that we didn't notice last time. There was a lot of talk about Nana for some reason.
I just can't really put my finger on it, honestly.
What is it in Inga's notes? Diamond-shaped tattoo on forehead.
Uh-huh. Diamond-shaped tattoo on forehead.
Diamond-shaped tattoo on forehead.
Diamond-shaped tattoo on forehead.
Now that one's a little bit different, diamond-shaped tattoo on forehead, but...
She's also got extra other facial markings as well.
Right. Just saying that there is more evidence. Further evidence. So I get that it's more complicated than that, and we don't really know all the intricacies or meanings of all of the facial tattoos, but what we do know is that we're the Bittersweet Gamers and introduced ourselves late. Anyway, this game is freaking cool, and the plot is really going, and this is awesome, and I am excited.
Can you tell?
Yeah, somehow, right? I'm the opinionator!
I'm We Squared! This is Dhurke! We're talking about Jove!
It's Dots.
This is Dots. We're talking about Jove.
Do you know what my biological father was like? I want to hear stories about my daddy. Well, I mean, Apollo doesn't know him!
He doesn't know anything about him.
Dhurke once told me about him. He was a modern minstrel, walking the world and making music in his travels.
Oh, I can get behind this alliteration. This file also has some important information on your real dad. It says he died in the blaze at Queen Amara's residence 23 years ago.
That's right. Dhurke had invited him over. Dhurke's the kind of guy who can become fast friends with just about anyone.
I can easily believe that. He's a very warm, welcoming person.
Somehow, I don't know. He looks really terrifying, and he acts really terrifying, but he is really warm. It's like quite surprisingly. There's nothing really sinister about him or anything like that.
Look, guys, I can't help that I was born looking like M. Bison or something like that. I mean, you know.
And it seems your pops was like that too, AJ. They hit it off at a bar. Then the next thing you know, Dhurke's asked him over to play some tunes. You know, Apollo's dad and Apollo's mom are musicians.
Yeah,
but Apollo doesn't seem to have a creative bone in his body.
I guess in this case, the apple fell pretty far from the tree. It fell from the tree, hit the ground, rolled downhill.
Maybe are you calling Apollo red?
Maybe I am. Maybe if he just plinked along at that piano in the office, he might awaken his innate musical talents.
Alternately, maybe he really doesn't have any. I guess all the creative stuff went to Trucy. You know, something we hadn't really thought about, because we're so busy going har har, Apollo is red. This random traveling singer was asked over to the Queen's house, the freaking Queen's place.
I hadn't even thought about that because we were talking about it from Dhurke's perspective.
Yeah, well, of course, where else is he gonna go?
No, you're right, you're right.
But if you look at it from the other direction, it's like, my gosh, it's like just randomly, he essentially met the husband of the Queen at some random bar and was like, hey, do you want to come to the palace and hang out? We can jam. Like, what? And then the place went up in flames. Yeah, Dhurke had just stepped out for a sec when the fire broke out.
Jeez.
Apollo, you were there too, but you were still just a baby. I remember hearing about that when I was little. Yeah, it was a crying shame. Your pops just happened to take you along that day. To the palace, no less. So, you were there with him when the fire broke out. But Dhurke risked his life to save you.
And then raise him.
It's like Dhurke's done nothing but save me all my life. From the beginning of it to...
Yeah.
All your pop stuff got burned out. Including anything that could have helped us identify him.
Well, I mean, we've got this now.
All we knew about him at first was his stage name, Jangly Justice, or something like that. Dhurke did everything he could just to dig up what little we know now.
Well,
so Jove Justice is actually his stage name, huh?
That's gonna make...
Well, that would explain why it's so hard to identify him or figure anything out. And that also explains why randomly Apollo has the name Justice. Who the heck knows what his last name is?
I didn't even think about that!
What about my mother? Do you know anything about her? All we know is she was traveling with your pops. But that day, she was off doing something on her own, and this is all probably covered in another game. So then she probably didn't even know my father had been with Dhurke, huh?
Man. But she must have been desperate to find you and your father once you'd gone missing.
No doubt. With the Queen's assassination threw the kingdom into chaos. The police were so overwhelmed they were probably hardly of any help to her. We searched and searched till our legs gave out too, but we never found her. And with your father's stuff all burned up, we had 0 leads. Not even a photo. We didn't know his name. We didn't know what he looked like. We don't know who you are.
He must have been a witness to the crime in question, and that's why they had to completely eliminate him as a potential divination seance target. Like, he must have seen something really incriminating.
So that's how I became an orphan. Man, finding out about this so much later in your life, without, like, Apollo knew that he was an orphan and he was raised by his foster father.
Right.
But he didn't know any of this. I mean, I understand why he'd kind of want to run away. There was a person that I knew who was adopted, and it made him mad. The way that he acted was, no, the people who raised me are my parents.
That makes sense.
And I love them because they are my parents. And I don't want anything to do with whoever my biological parents were. I'm not interested in finding who they are. They don't matter because they're not my parents. And he was like aggressive about this. And I understand that position. It's kind of like that with Apollo, sort of.
Yeah.
All I mean is he was never interested in approaching this, and so it's like he didn't find out stuff that he probably should have already known. But then again, he also left. He ended up out of country too.
That's true.
Does that mean that he's a native Khura'inese speaker?
I don't know.
Well, that doesn't really matter.
He would have learned it at some point just through osmosis, growing up there. But I don't know at what age.
Okay, then what language did he speak when he was a baby?
Goo goo gaga. I'm sure Dhurke didn't want to bring it up. Maybe because he was ashamed that he couldn't save Apollo's father, that all he could do was save Apollo. He couldn't even save his own wife.
Yeah, that is a really good point. The incident is more than traumatic for Dhurke as well.
And then to be accused of it.
It's like the defining moment of his life, really.
And then to clear himself, and then to be accused again, like of faking evidence. Is it any wonder he's so hostile to the Khura'in regime?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe your mom read about the details of the fire in the newspaper. I mean, we're not really going to get the stuff about his mom. That's sort of elsewhere.
But wouldn't it be interesting if she did show up?
Yeah. If she's gonna, this would be the time for her to do it. And maybe she figured you died along with your pops.
Wow, I had no idea you'd been through all that, Apollo.
So then you believe me? You believe in my son's innocence? That's not an old man!
That's not an old man at all! Your poor son, imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit.
Well,
let's petition the government for his release and a declaration of innocence.
Well, we knew she'd show up eventually. Oh, thank you. I'm forever in your debt.
Now you can leave through the sewers.
And yeah, where did they come from?
Climbed in through the window.
Are they right outside, or... Huh? Who's that? Hey there, Mrs. Emmy. Hard at work, I see. Oh, thank goodness I get to have this smile on my face now. It's really awkward when I'm being serious.
Yes, I have my own battle that I must wage. After all, there are many who suffer under the Defense Culpability Act. Mrs. Emmy, please don't forget about our case, too. I won't. I will look into it as soon as I am able. Dots? What's Mrs. Inme doing here?
She's lending an ear to all those suffering under the regime. She's lending an ear to all those suffering under the regime's wrongful accusations. A lady whose husband's been imprisoned, parents whose son's been falsely charged. She's helping all those types of people. But hey, as long as all your prosecutors do everything perfectly, because of course they're going to be perfect, and there will never be any mistakes in a justice system ever.
No crime ever. So she's trying to help the revolution along. In her own special way.
Yep, and thanks to her, more and more folks are coming over to our side. All the people who've been unhappy with the regime have been waiting for Justice Chance. And they're starting to speak out in support of us. The people are responding, and a grassroots movement is growing. You knew it was only a matter of time.
I mean, the very beginning of the game kind of hinted at that pretty strongly.
There's that too, yes? Dhurke's dream of revolution may finally come true.
I mean, his trial might be what sets everyone off. What should we do about the Founder's Orb? We'll probably run into the Royal Guards again the moment we leave this place, and I don't want to be called Spidey Hair again. Well, we can't stay here forever, so we'll have to think of something.
I've got it. Why don't you hold on to it, Dots?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
It should be safe here, right? You can count on me! I'll get it back to you in time for tomorrow's trial at the Hall of Justice. If they haven't raided this place in 23 years, why are they gonna start now?
That's what I was thinking. I mean, if they haven't, just wandered by and glanced in through the window or something, or that Dot's a rebel guy keeps jumping into the sewers, maybe we should investigate the sewers.
Or how about maybe we should investigate the building that used to be the law offices of our sworn enemy of the state leading a revolution against it. Maybe his office might have a connection. Now, it seems far-fetched that it would, but it's like one of those places you gotta check. It's like, you gotta check the guy's house, right? Maybe
you don't ask those kinds of questions in the Royal Guard! Get to foot rubbing!
They have regular police, you know. Founder's Orb ninja'd into Dots' pocket.
I don't know why you did that. He was willing to take it. What now, Apollo?
Well, we've got a handle on what happened 23 years ago. Maybe we should pay Dhurke a visit. There's something I want to show him.
Oh, that pendant.
Yeah, we have to get to that anyway.
I'll join you. I want to talk to him before tomorrow's trial.
Maybe I should wait here, then. We'll attract undue attention if we go in too large of a group.
Well, all right, then. What took you guys so long? I've been waiting here for quite some time.
You know, it has been a while, hasn't it?
Hey there, son. Come to see your old man again.
You're awfully happy and friendly for the situation you're in, aren't
I'm
you?
always happy and friendly.
Well, maybe not as the leader of the rebels.
Well, I mean,
Hey, Dhurke. Guess they're done questioning you? And by they, I mean Sadmati.
You'd think Nahyuta might have cut his old man a little slack, but no.
Why'd I say Sadmati? You're Sadmati.
Well, so's he. I mean, you're not technically wrong. He really laid into me. Seems they're really keen on recovering the Founder's Orb. I can't imagine why.
That's so weird that they would be like that.
When I couldn't tell them where it was, he confiscated what few possessions I had and left.
No, I think you actually completely failed that last line.
What are you talking about?
Let's go to that transcript. First, it wasn't that he couldn't, it's that he wouldn't. And they didn't confiscate what few possessions Dhurke had and then left. They confiscated the possessions Dhurke had left.
No, we're going with my take. We don't ever edit these, ever.
I feel as though maybe you completely had the opposite meaning from saying it in that way. Wait, Dhurke's not wearing his attorney's badge.
They did let me keep my jacket, though.
They even took that from him? But why didn't they take this fancy jacket? Hey, Pops.
I know what you're gonna do.
I'm a lawyer.
I'm proud of you, son. Oh, this is the same line. No one needs to see the rest of this.
What? You wouldn't happen to know who this is, would you?
Is that for me, son?
Yes.
Nope, I'm not going to tell you anything. This is one of my canned responses. Surely you'll respond to this. I prepared that myself. Use it well.
I'm surprised you were able to gather this much information, I say, knowing that you managed to track a picture of my dad whose name you didn't even know halfway across the world while being a criminal in Khura'in. So actually, I'm not surprised you were able to gather this much information about the most seminal event in your life.
It wasn't easy. Nothing I do ever is. After all of the evidence from the assassination was lost in the fire. And the newly installed Khura'in regime was in full control of the media. Every lead I tried to follow led to a dead end.
So then how am I supposed to solve this case?
You'll figure something out once tomorrow's trial is underway.
Actually, I think that's probably the right attitude. Like, you come in as best you can, and then you need to see...
Well, that's how these always work.
Right. I'm just saying that I think that's actually good under the circumstances. Like, you've got to wing it a little bit, but then after that, you've got to have a good idea.
Yeah.
But a little bit of winging it is probably the way to start.
After all, no one's looked into this assassination since my last trial.
I hope I can turn things around enough to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat.
So, now for the actual reason we're here.
I found this in the tomb. Look familiar?
Oh! That's...
We thought that's what it was.
Uh-huh.
One half of a pendant has something to do with your wife. You have the other half. Dhurke?
Where did you find it?
Down between the monk statues in the tomb. Is it yours, Dhurke?
Oh, it's something I bought. I have no reason why.
Are you maybe not telling me the truth, Dhurke?
No.
Did you just giggle? You giggled? That is freaking creepy. Oh my god, if you ever giggle again, I am not going to defend you. Why is he suddenly acting all awkward?
Just ignore your bracelet if it starts to twitch.
Oh, okay, since you told me.
I wonder when I lost it. Probably during the altercation with Inga. Let's have it. It's very important to me, this thing that I just bought.
Of course. I'll just make a note about this for future reference. Even if there's not two halves, I mean, come on.
Come on.
Whether it was his or whether it was Amara's and in the tomb, at this point he deserves to have it.
Yeah, especially since all his other possessions got taken. He confiscated all of my prized jailbreaking tools.
Well, that's probably because he's good at his job. What did you expect? You're in jail! And you broke it out of jail how many times?
I mean, I don't like to brag.
No, but no prosecutor in their right mind would let a prisoner keep stuff like that.
Did he take your attorney's badge too? Does it have a lockpick hidden inside?
Maybe it does.
No, I mean it does, but I thought it strange, but... Just when it looked like he was going to take it from me, he changed his mind.
He decided he wasn't going to take that from you, huh? I wonder why.
Well, he's not wearing it. Indeed. I find it hard to understand anything he does these days.
He's just in that rebellious phase. It's lasted about 10 years longer than it normally does. Your Khura'inese attorney's badge. You've worn it all these years, even though all the lawyers are gone. Last
Yes.
lawyer standing, I suppose.
Because the dragon's eye is the embodiment of my creed.
To show the world that a dragon never yields, huh?
Aw, I wanted to say the line, but you said it in your thoughts.
Hey, Dhurke. Why do you still wear your badge? You're not a lawyer anymore, right?
This badge is my heart and soul, son. I'll never stop trying to realize my dream. Not until my very last breath.
It makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah!
A dragon never yields, right?
Exactly. Nahyuta, Apollo, I vow to restore Khura'in's legal system to its rightful state one day. I want to pass on to you a world where you can live free from the fear of tyranny.
He was always saying stuff like that to the two of us. Nahyuta, is the reason why you didn't take Dhurke's badge because you still remember those talks too?
He can try and look away from it all he wants, but he can't change the fact that that was important to him.
Yeah, and it still is, if you ask me.
Yes! He can talk
We don't
all
know.
this-
We don't know. It's just he's so inscrutable. We really don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I really hope that's what it is. Because he won't talk to anybody about anything.
Son, would you keep my badge for me?
And it seems like he's just got so much of a mask on. Like I'd said before, I wonder how much he's lying to himself too, just as much as he is everyone else.
He keeps telling others to let it go and move on, but he hasn't.
Right. That's exactly what I mean. Are you sure? I can't take something so important to you.
That's exactly why I want you to hold on to it, Apollo. I'm placing my fate in your hands. It's symbolic and stuff.
All right. I'll make sure it stays safe.
Apollo, remember how Inga said he had someone dear to Dhurke?
You're here too? Since when, Mr. Wright?
I did say as we were leaving that I was going to tag along.
Oh, it's hard to tell in a visual novel.
Why don't you ask about that, you jerk?
I beat you in court. Oh, right. I'll give it a try. I mean, we thought it was Nahyuta when this came up. What did the minister mean when he said he had someone dear to you in the palm of his hand? Who was he talking about? Nahyuta seemed to know, but he wouldn't tell me anything.
Well, I've no idea, so...
Huh.
Well, you obediently followed his every word after he said that. So it seems to me the minister was in close proximity to someone you really cared about. I like his expression like, come on, Dhurke.
Is it possible that is Amara then? And that Rafa maybe isn't... And that Rafa maybe isn't Inga's daughter, but... I mean, the way that Dhurke was just like, we're changing the subject right now.
I can't see how that would possibly be true, though. Dang it, there's two of them.
Someone you really care about that isn't Nahyuta? Wait, don't tell me. Is there a new lady in your life, Dhurke?
What? No, don't be ridiculous, son!
Why not? Is there a problem with that?
Most chicks don't dig my eye patch. The love of my life was Amara, but she's gone now and there will never be another.
So I was right, in other words.
No, ignore that bracelet. I told you to ignore it if it twitched.
You got another... You did! Come to think of it, you are so untrustworthy! I don't know, How many sisters do I, Apollo, have that I don't know about? Because I feel like more than one is starting to get really strange. Wait, does my bracelet twitching like this mean... Dhurke, have you really not met somebody new, or is there another way to interpret what you just said?
Power!
It'll be on But She's Gone Now.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, it's not his face.
Dang, that's the most visible part of him.
Well, you knew it wouldn't be his face.
That's true.
Isn't that it?
Yeah. You were right.
I told you. Dhurke, you seemed tense when you said that Amara was gone now. To the point where your arm was moving around. Keep in mind, we've been talking about this for like 2 episodes straight. Even if we were wrong about the conclusion, it's the concept is something, and this is all really complicated in any case. So I can't be too surprised after all the discussion we've had on the topic of who the heck is the person in the photo and what doesn't Rafa understand. When you have an idea or a theory, and then you receive new evidence,
you adjust it.
You don't defend the old stuff, you just got new information, so you apply it.
And if it means the theory's different, then you change the theory. What are you talking about?
You're hiding something up your sleeves, aren't you?
Just my arm? Huh? What's with these wild allegations? I'm not hiding a thing.
You're awfully defensive, Dhurke.
My arm had an itch. That's all.
Itchy arm, my ass.
That's not what the line said. I raised you better.
I'll just have to take an extra close look at his tics and confront him with something he can't explain his way out of. Are you serious?
What?
So there's gonna be a bunch of them and you've gotta find the right one? Hello?
No, that's it. That's why I clicked on last time. Maybe his hand?
We already looked at his hand.
But maybe it's a different part of the testimony. Okay.
Are you sure that was the part? I mean, I understand you clicked on his arm, but what the hell was it?
That was the fabric shifting and the light. Careful with that. Don't go showing it around town. You'll be branded a rebel.
But I'm not a rebel!
Don't be ridiculous. You're a member of the Defiant Dragons simply by being my son.
Sins of the father, huh?
Yeah. Or did you think that dragon tattoo on your rear end was just for show?
Don't talk about that!
What? You have a tattoo on your butt, Apollo? Let me see.
Well,
Let me see.
I'm essentially Khura'in, so... Relax, Athena. He's just jerking our chains again. And...
Oh? How often do you look at your butt?
What?
Inga Karkul Khura'in. He was an entirely insufferable, unlikable fellow, but I never thought he'd wind up dead.
Why didn't you like him? Why do you have to explain this to me?
Son? He was the most hawkish one in the Quran regime. He established the secret police to arrest us rebels without due process. Those they managed to capture were immediately executed. My compatriots in the Defiant Dragons came to call him the Executioner.
The Executioner. Pretty ironic, considering how he ended up.
I can actually attest to that. I saw him basically signing death warrants in his spare time.
Yeah, that's mainly... That is something.
And it was with gusto, Apollo. He's probably in hell now, being tormented by those he wrongfully put to death. Nipple pinching and whatever.
What is up with people around here being obsessed with pinching nipples? Or is that just you, Billy?
I don't want to get into it. I mean, it could be a separate thing.
That is not fabric shifting.
Well, that's the only explanation I can think of for it randomly lighting up like that.
There is something in there glowing.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Maybe the reason that it's doing it now is because we can see it now, whereas we didn't before.
Huh.
I didn't. I saw his hand moving and was saying that.
I see.
Gotcha.
Dhurke, you can't fool me. You tensed up when you said, but she's gone now. And you unconsciously moved your arm, causing something to press up against your jacket.
Ah! How did you do that?
Because it didn't press up against your jacket until the second time. So that's it. You're hiding a woman's photo up your sleeve. But that's not what it looked like, but it doesn't matter. Bah, that was just another case of we already did this, right?
Right?
Man, the answer to we already did this is always no. Okay, so we just need to, if we do something that seems like it should work and it doesn't work, we just need to do it again. I blame you, mouse holder.
Yes, I am grasping the mouse.
You don't have to keep secrets like that from me, Dhurke. You're an eligible bachelor now, but you'll introduce her to me at some point, right? Speaking of some point, aren't I kind of missing the point?
I keep telling you there's no other woman.
Fine, then let's see it. What are you hiding up your sleeve?
That Nahyuta didn't take. It's just this. Satisfied?
Huh? But that's the pendant we found in Amara's tomb.
Right, so there's no reason to look into this. See? I wasn't trying to hide anything. I don't have pockets in these robes.
Oh, it's a cape, or a cloak. It's not a robe.
Well, I meant it's normal clothing.
Well, that's not a robe either.
I guess that isn't a robe. Anyway.
Then why do you tense up? Dhurke, let me take a look at that.
We should have done this already, but... Ah!
Hey, what's this button for? I mean, what have we been saying, right?
Couldn't even look at it in the evidence viewer, you know?
The evidence viewer isn't in this game.
That's a good reason we couldn't do that then, was it?
Whoa! Yeah, that was Amara in the photo.
Okay, but that just raises all sorts of other new questions.
Well, yeah, I don't know what the heck Inga was doing like that, but... Yeah, this is what I was saying earlier. It means that Dhurke is Rafa's father.
It's just the time discrepancy. But go on. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe... That would be really weird otherwise.
I mean...
And why doesn't she have any spiritual power? Well, anyway, the point is, it's something like this. There is something rather complicated, and we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But that time discrepancy that Rafa is 14 and this was 23 years ago is important. There's just more speculation, but what happened to Apollo's mother was that she lost her memory at that time.
Right.
Due to an accident she was in at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be that the reason that it wasn't like, look, the queen is still alive is because she lost her memory?
I can see that, but doesn't that seem a little strange?
Billy. Billy.
I just realized, yes. I realized what game we're playing.
Not only that, who else has lost their memory in this game? In fact, haven't memory problems, just like fatherhood, been rather omnipresent? Army lying to herself and not really remembering everything that actually happened correctly. Look at Wendo.
Oh. Yeah, you're right.
There might be something to that. That could explain why Inga would be Rafa's father, why they kept the queen away and didn't say, hey, the queen's alive.
Okay.
Something like that?
That sounds feasible.
Again, I don't really know. How could I? But there is more than a love triangle going on here, whatever it is. This is... It's a picture of... Not my line.
Oh, that's my line. It's a picture of Dhurke and some lady. And she's really young looking, too. Mon Dieu! Are you into younger women, Dhurke? Are you looking?
Don't they look like they're not really that dissimilar in age?
I mean, he looks pretty young, too, yeah?
Oh, everyone's misinterpreting what it is. Dhurke, you old dog, you. Despite the fact that you look like you did when I was a kid, and being in this photo, you got yourself a younger lover.
Will you stop with this nonsense?
Dhurke isn't even lying. He hasn't been lying this whole time.
This is Amara before she died. If you look closer, you'll see that I was younger too. I mean, my hair's shorter. Come on, guys.
Mon Dieu! Hey, you're right.
Aw, that's no fun.
Wait a second. Haven't we seen this woman before? Maybe BSG saying this stuff was...
Now that you mention it... No, I don't recognize that person at all.
Isn't this woman the same as the one in the pendant's photo? Even if that is Nahyuta, then the other thing that you would have to explain about that, like if that's Nahyuta and not Rafa, why was it in Inga's safe? Why would you have a photo of somebody else's wife and somebody else's child in in his safe where he's already kept like a letter that his daughter wrote him on, for his birthday? Like that's like, I love my family, and then there's this hidden away. Like, why would it be Nahyuta if there isn't some connection?
You're right, you're right.
The woman in the pendant is also the one in this photo, who seems to be the same person that we saw on the murals in Amara's tomb.
Apollo, where did you get this, and why did I play dumb when you showed it to me earlier?
I got it from Inga Karkul Khura'in's safe!
Apollo, if this is Queen Amara, it had to have been taken at least 23 years ago. But that's just not possible, because I'm about to point out that law book in the back.
Like we talked about. Yeah, I just noticed the same thing last episode. Here's why this photo couldn't be 23 years old. Take a look at the law book. It has the mark of the Defiant Dragons branded on it. But that mark didn't exist until after you started your revolutionary activities, Dhurke. So this photo must have been taken after Garan came into power. And that didn't happen until after Amara was assassinated. So then, how can Amara even be in this photo?
Time travelers.
Wait a second. And the phrase that I perceived you on, that would mean that Amara is still alive? And what was this doing in Inga's safe?
Looks like you found me out, son.
Wait, so it's actually true? Dhurke, what do you mean Amara's still alive? I thought she'd been assassinated. I thought you were tried for the assassination.
So did I. But it seems she made it out alive, only to be held captive by the Quran regime.
Why would they do that?
When I fled from law and went underground 23 years ago...
Mind you, one reason they might do that is, oh, the Minister of Justice wanted to be the queen.
Yeah. I heard some shocking news from a Defiant Dragon spy. There were rumors of Queen Amara being sighted in the palace.
And those rumors turned out to be true?
Yes! I snuck into the palace to see for myself.
I mean, what about the channeling?
That could be it. She was confined within the grounds, but otherwise, she was as fit as a fiddle. So then, the sarcophagus in the tomb, it's empty?
That's why we needed to look in it.
Yes, that entire tomb is one big charade. Charade, however you say that word.
Charade.
Garan had it built...
Karate.
Karate! Garan had it built to stage Amara's death. So we're not going to be cursed by her vengeful spirit? Woo, that's a relief!
Yeah, so let's go look at it. You come too, Dhurke. That's how it works, right?
She was being held under virtual house arrest. So I freed her and we made a run for it.
You freed her?
This photo was taken back then.
Oh, I never even thought that he'd actually go and rescue her and drag her out! Look at how they're both grinning from ear to ear. Okay, this means that the leader of the revolutionaries broke into the palace, found the wife that he was
Hey!
that was supposed to have assassinated and escaped with her from the palace, and then she gets caught, but he doesn't, and he doesn't go back into the palace. It's like, and then Nahyuta maybe does, or doesn't know about his mom having been rescued and by Dhurke and then reapprehended, and I'm like, that's why I'm like, that's weird!
There's also another aspect. Couldn't he just be like, oh, hey guys, she's alive, I didn't kill her?
Huh? There's a fingerprint on the metal part. I guess Dhurke must have left it by accident.
Oh god, we're not gonna dust for it, are we?
Later we will, but it's not Dhurke's. I only say that because Apollo pointed it out. I saw the thing earlier and I was like, well, of course you're gonna have a fingerprint in your own locket with your wife.
But since it was pointed out, ooh, Mr. Sadmati, I want to hear all about how you ran away with Queen Amara.
Would you like to say that louder in front of this guard? Ooh, Mr. Sadmati, did you know that you rescued the previous queen who you were accused and in fact having been found guilty of assassinating and started a revolution over this fact when you ran away with her after you assassinated her? Oh my god! But she might have been channeled. Well, this changes everything. I'm surprised Amara agreed to run away with you.
She is my wife, and she was being held prisoner.
I mean, what kind of weird, crazy stuff is going on? This, like, takes everything that we know about everything and turns all of it upside down. I mean, it's true
It's kind of hard to wrap your mind around after such a big reveal.
It's true that we were saying that Amara was alive. Or, like, we were like, either Amara's alive or this.
Right.
And we found out
Amara's alive,
so that's what we jumped on. But it's another thing entirely for him to have run off with her. And what's this response? I mean, Khura'in must have told her that you tried to kill her.
I tried to convince her that I wasn't the one who set the blaze.
So she didn't lose her memory? And she believed you?
She said, and I quote, I shall accompany you so I may ascertain the truth myself.
If she was...
She always was a tough one to read.
If she was your wife, wouldn't she have actually had faith in you about this?
I think that might lead to the memory loss thing, and that's just what Khura'in told her. I bet she was thrilled you came to her rescue, Mr. Sadmati. It's so romantic. To be set free by your beloved. It's like something out of a fairy tale.
It really does look like a spider leg when she does it that way.
Yeah, well, there was no happily ever after once Khura'in's people caught up with us. They took Amara away to who knows where. I snuck back into the palace and searched high and low for her, but to no avail. They probably moved her to some remote mountain prison or the like.
Dhurke, does Nahyuta know about this? I'm one thing, but that's his mother.
He knows she's his true mother. I told him this much.
Wait, is that why Nahyuta is following Khura'in's orders?
That is certainly something to hold over someone's head. Most likely. So then, do you think that deep down he doesn't really want to prosecute you?
I still say that the reason that he sticks to so many ad hominems and kind of cheap, slightly dirty tricks. I don't mean that he cheats.
Right.
I'm just talking about the way he acts. I think he's acting so ridiculously because it isn't his true will. So by not acting in the manner in which he wants to...
Like a coping mechanism, maybe?
Yeah, like if he doesn't act like himself, then he's not doing what he doesn't want.
Yeah, I gotcha. That makes sense.
Kind of hard to try to say that, but...
But I understand what you're saying. Well, he's not one to show his feelings. And lately, I've had no idea what he's thinking.
Just like everybody else! You cannot read the guy.
Apollo, we need to grill the Queen about Amara when we have the chance, because they're totally not going to lock us away for doing that.
We are talking about a regime that essentially capturing and executing people without due process maybe that doesn't mean this is the sort of regime that would just take foreign nationals and execute them too, or lock them up or something, but maybe.
I was wondering about something. The little baby the lady's holding.
Yeah, that part's pretty important, huh? That's what we were focused on last time.
Is that Prosecutor Sadmati?
It can't be. Not necessarily. It could just as well be me. After all, we're only 1 year apart. But it's not that either.
I don't know. I mean, the kid in the picture is too cute to be you.
Athena, let's settle this by asking Dhurke himself, not that he'll answer.
Well, you've already proven I can't lie to you.
All right, we'll present this to you again, bucko! But the law book, does that mean it can't be Apollo or Nahyuta?
Well, yep, can't be. I mean, he'd be 3 years or 2 years old, or yeah, he wouldn't be a little infant. He'd be a toddler.
Yeah, that's why we said the last time that it couldn't be either of them, because there's the law book. We just went through that.
Yeah.
Dhurke, about the cute little kid in this photo, is that me?
Huh? What are you talking about?
See what I'm saying?
Please don't use your powers on me. See? I told you it was Prosecutor Sadmati. Oh, I see. Well, either way, it's not you, son. Don't you two get any weird ideas either.
We already have.
Oh.
So then... And I'm gonna jump ahead here. If it's Nahyuta, it was taken when he was about 1 year old, right? And that would mean you ran away with Amara around 22 or 23 years ago?
You're pretty good with numbers, son. Impressive. Don't judge me like that.
Huh? What kind of answer is that?
The only one you're getting.
Quite realistic. The only one you're getting. So
Well, it's about time for you to leave.
So that's when Rafa came around, huh? Okay, but what does that matter to Inga? Or is it that Inga
Hostage? If Rafa is his daughter.
I'm sure that Rafa could have been something like a hostage, but he also clearly... Even if Dhurke is Rafa's father, Inga was Rafa's father.
Oh yeah, and I'm not trying to say anything about that, but...
I don't think he ever would have ever done anything.
No, but all Dhurke needed was the threat of something to get to act how Inga wanted.
Sure. No, I agree with that completely.
I also agree Inga would have never done anything to Rafa. Before you go, son, there is something else I need to tell you. Something important.
Her personality is closest to his, after all.
You're right!
What is it, Dhurke? I've never seen you act so serious before. So what's this something important you have to tell me?
Oh, it's coming. Listen, son. Even if you manage to prove me innocent tomorrow, I don't have long to live.
What? What are you talking about?
What I mean is, I can already hear the Twilight Realm calling my name.
What are you talking about?
There is no escaping death now that it has set its sights on me.
What is this, Hokuto no Ken? What are you actually talking about? What? Is this another one of your jokes?
Ha! I wish it was, though it would have been bad taste.
You can't fool me, Dhurke. That's strange. Why isn't my bracelet reacting?
He doesn't have any anxiety about it. Are you sick? It's something like that.
So you're not joking?
I'm afraid not, son. Sorry.
Isn't there a cure? Or at least some sort of treatment?
Unfortunately not. Not for what I've got.
What are you talking about? If you need some kind of surgery, I'll work hard until I can pay for it. So, please.
It's too late. There's nothing more to be done now.
After all this time, I finally found my father in more ways than one. But you always say a dragon never yields, so why are you giving up now?
Apollo, I'm sorry. I really am.
I don't understand. Why is this happening, Dhurke? Why?
Listen, Apollo. I've got a favor to ask of you. Would you keep quiet about this? I don't want my fellow dragons to find out. They'd lose all hope if they knew I was dying. Would you do that for me?
Of course. Why is this happening now? Just when I was finally starting to feel like you really are my... I thought that this time we'd finally... But now... Damn it. Why?
Apollo. Listen, son. I don't have much longer to live. But I'll never let them execute me. Not before I finish what I need to do.
I know, Dhurke. There's no way I'm going to let them prove you guilty. Before he goes, I'm gonna turn back time by righting the wrongs that have been done. I'm going to restore Dhurke's freedom. And return a real smile to Nahyuta's face. I'm going to win this case. I just have to!
Son, I have one more big secret.
What? There's something else you've been hiding from me?
I'm afraid I can't tell you what it is. I'd be betraying a certain someone if I did.
I mean, we know what this is about. What was that supposed to mean?
Forgive me. You'll just have to find out for yourself. That's the only way.
I don't understand, Dhurke.
Apollo, in court tomorrow, you may find yourself faced with a truth that is difficult to accept. But I know you, and I know you can handle the truth, no matter what it turns out to be. I know that because I believe in you. You're my son, after all!
Dhurke, what is he talking about? Wait, he's not going to reveal that he actually is the killer, is he? Because sure enough, that's what the divination seance is going to show.
Looks like we've run out of things to discuss. Apollo, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Free him now! Free him now!
Free him now!
Free him now!
Release Dhurke! What's going on out there?
Sounds like the party's getting started without me.
Or because it's without you. Huh?
It's coming from the temple. Let's go, Apollo, and take a look.
Well, as the regime gets shown to be more and more corrupt, well, maybe the guy who's been yelling about the regime for, 23 years or so has been a consistent figure in Khura'in for those 23 years. Maybe he just starts to become slightly more
Get some
popular.
more credibility.
Yeah. Nobody can say that he hasn't been sticking to his guns the whole time. And it's like, this starts to happen, and a lot of people are probably going to think, hey, maybe he was right the whole time. Whoa, what is all this?
Oh, God!
No, don't make things worse for yourself, Dots!
What are they?
Huh? Well, look at
Ha
that.
ha!
The people are coming to take their courts back.
Yeah!
Don't hold back, men! Arrest them all!
Unfortunately, we seem to be vastly outnumbered.
You know, Believe has really come out looking really good, don't you think?
Dhurke belongs to the people. Give him back.
Ah! Where are you holding him?
Quiet down, you.
They had my big sister too, but she didn't do anything wrong.
Ouch! Ouch! Stop pulling my hair.
Release my son! Release him now!
Ah! Stop that! No biting.
This is really something.
And it looks like Dots and Mrs. Inme are leading the charge.
You unenlightened fools. Do you honestly think this will change anything? Yuri! Why do you keep serving that witch Garan? It's... Hey, Nahyuta! You again. What's going on here? It would appear that the insurgents are fanning the flames of rebellion. But I never thought it would grow so large. However, they will all be under arrest shortly. Reinforcements are almost here. They'll be arrested? Just for protesting? They are aiding and abetting a criminal by seeking his release.
Whoa!
I guess you can interpret the DC Act like that, eh?
Whoa! Excuse me! But, oh! That only counts if he's found guilty, doesn't it?
Her Eminence, Queen Garan, has ordered they be arrested and judged en masse. But weren't you once a member of the Defiant Dragons too? How can you go along with this? I am simply following the orders that Her Eminence has handed down. No, it can't be as simple as that. Listen, Nahyuta, there's something I want to talk to you about.
Off he goes.
Hey, you're not getting away this time! We need to talk! I see there is no reasoning with you. Very well, then. Speak.
Apollo, is this really the place and time to be having this conversation?
Well, you know what it's time to do now! After all this time, after begging me to speak with you, why is that badge before me? Remember how we used to talk about what we wanted to be back when we were kids? I wanted to be a lawyer, and you, a prosecutor. You said you wanted to prosecute bad guys to make sure they got punished. Yes, passing judgment upon evil. That is my calling, and it is why I have taken this case. Are you saying Dhurke is evil? He who goes against what is righteous and holy. I shall reap his soul with all my power, whoever he may be, for that is my role. Then I'll just have to defend his soul with all my power, Nahyuta. What Yudi's saying isn't wrong. It's just that hasn't been proven.
Yeah.
Alas, another soul has departed this world, and must now be guided to the Twilight Realm. You would even hold last rites for a kidnapper like Minister Inga? Come on.
Everyone deserves that sort of thing.
No matter what, even if he was somebody terrible, he was still a human being.
Yeah.
Still worthy of the dignity that bears. Criminals, too, must be given funerary rites. Deny that, and their soul will turn malevolent, bringing woe upon the living. This is Khura'in, where the Queen channels spirits. Do we want so many malevolent spirits floating around?
That makes a lot of sense.
That is why all who pass on must receive a proper requiem. Well, it makes sense now that I think about it. I feel kind of stupid. I mean, if I were murdered, I'd probably be pretty keen on revenge, too. That's the Rebel's Mark of the Dragon. It symbolizes a person's opposition to the Defense Culpability Act. You seek to argue with me about the legal system now? If so, you're wasting your breath.
This seems like a good time to argue about it with this mob of angry people.
Here protesting it!
Yeah!
Lawyers and prosecutors do not lay down the law. They merely follow it. The laws decreed by our sovereign are absolute. There is no room for debate.
But isn't that what a trial is?
Well,
Sort of?
no, the point he's making, which by the way is a point that I agree with, it is not your job as a lawyer or my job as a prosecutor to interpret the law. It is our job to enforce the law.
Okay, I see.
If you want to change the law, change the law. If the law sucks, get rid of it and make a better law.
Okay, I see.
But it's not up to us to do activism. It's up to us to actually enforce the system that's there. Because if we don't enforce the system that's there on both sides, on the lawyer side and the prosecutor side, if we don't enforce the law that's there, aren't we just being rogue? Aren't we just doing whatever we think the law means instead of what the law actually means? And isn't that actually just like more anarchy than it would be if there kind of were no law? Like, does a law mean something or does a law not? And the only way for it to mean something is if you enforce it. Now, if the law is unjust, then the law is unjust. Change the law.
But that's not their job.
But in a trial,
Yeah.
in prosecution, it is not. You're not there to say that the law. Well, I mean, maybe on the defense side you are, but you're not there to say the law is unjust, or the law is good, or the law is bad. It's to follow the law for the system to be. Now, the thing, and so I agree with that point completely, obviously. The thing is, this mob of people here, they're there to say, this law is unjust, so change the law. So he's right and wrong simultaneously.
Pretty impressive.
So let it go and move on, right? Why is that your only answer to everything?
That's the only answer that works.
Is it the answer that you continuously need to tell yourself, remind yourself of, because you still haven't?
Alright, time to examine everything and just ignore Nahyuta for a little bit more.
Why did you stop me?
Look at all these people! They've got the whole temple surrounded, or as much as they can with those walls there. And it looks like Dots is fanning the flame. Literally. The police are going to really have their hands full with this many protesters.
Take this, Dragon Snot Snaps! This is a peaceful protest! This whole thing is like a powder keg waiting to go off. We should keep our distance for now, especially considering how involved we are with all the major people on every side of this whole thing.
I like the police officer with his hands up like, I give up! I surrender!
It's like Belieb is actually, like, haranguing him.
Mr. Wright stayed there the entire time he was here, apparently.
Why would he stay at a temple instead of a hotel?
I feel like we've already rehashed this.
This is like the most important side point. This is almost on the level of ladder versus step ladder. The fact that everyone keeps talking about this in examining.
He says it helped to cut costs. Long stays at a hotel really add up, you know. But he had to sleep on the floor with a load of strangers. There weren't any showers either.
Wow. That's worse than staying at a youth hostel for backpackers.
I feel like you both are mocking me. Okay, let's finally talk.
I will never forgive you. Nahyuta, do you really have to serve as prosecutor on Dhurke's case? I mean, prosecuting your own flesh and blood, it's just not right. Again with this drivel? Your ethical standards are not the be-all, end-all of the world around you. I'm not getting into another debate with him. I mean, especially considering that you can't really... This is a point you can't win on.
Right.
If you can't win on it... Yeah, if you can't win on it, you go from a different direction.
Yeah.
Nahyuta, did you know that Dhurke is sick? What? He apparently doesn't have that much longer to live. If found guilty, he seems to think he probably wouldn't even make it until his execution day. What are you talking about? Knowing this, are you still prepared to send an already dying man to his grave? Though can I say, what would happen if Nahyuta recused himself? Somebody else is going to be appointed to prosecute it.
Well, if it's Gaspin, then bring it on.
If it has to be somebody...
Yeah, it should be Nahyuta.
If it has to be somebody, if he can't...
Especially since he said that he would be the one performing the rites.
Yeah.
This would be like his last chance to see Dhurke.
I mean, one really legitimate way to look at it that I'm not so sure that I would not do is if anybody is going to prosecute their father, or prosecute this man, it's going to be me, his son. Because I'm not going to let somebody else do it. Because he's my father. Now the thing is you would assume that he would, due to the obvious conflict of interest, do a really bad job.
Right.
But he was the one who was given the task in the first place, so. Well, enough with the Zen monk act, Nahyuta. Tell me how you really feel for once.
You telling us how you really feel isn't going to change how you behave in court. You don't have to act like such a cold, emotionally dead a-hole outside of court. You're not in the courtroom.
Mr. Justice. Each person is born with a role to fulfill. I mean, I've been talking recently about Rafa getting strength from that. Why can't he do the same?
Yeah.
And I must fulfill mine. Well, I'm not convinced that taking Dhurke to trial is a part of your lot in life. As for why you've been at Garon's every beck and call...
Oh!
I think I might have the answer. Nahyuta, you know the truth about your mother, don't you? About how the former queen is, and let me say this really loudly, okay? Still alive and being held somewhere. So, Dhurke told you, did he? Yes, it's true. My mother was spirited away to some remote corner of this kingdom to keep her safe from harm.
Safe from the evil rebel Dhurke.
Safe from harm? But Dhurke said the Garon regime is holding her captive. No, they are keeping her safe. So you don't know where Amara is being held, like the palace say?
Uh-huh.
I only know that it is some secluded hideaway where visitors are not allowed.
You know, like a prison maybe.
I've heard she leads a simple life, akin to that of monastic disciples.
And has he even gone and, like,
He
visited
can't.
her?
No, this is a lie.
Yeah!
This is a complete lie.
Right, I'm saying that, like, that's a point that should be like,
Yeah, they should have let him see her. Although I do have to say, this is like very medieval. That is often something that would happen.
Yeah.
Like, you remove people with either a claim or the actual holder of the office, and bammo, you're a monk.
Yeah.
Whether you want to be or not. And by the way, don't escape. Sure sounds like she's being held captive to me. Listen, Nahyuta, aren't you really doing the Queen's bidding because she's holding Amara captive? Because she's holding Amara captive?
I like that glare on his face.
And this whole thing with Dhurke, you know he didn't really kill Inga, don't you?
Wait, doesn't that mean he's also going to be presiding over the trial of his mother's death?
Yes.
But
And he was specifically assigned to do it.
and he knows his mother is alive. then he knows that he was kicked out of the royal family for no reason. Why is he going along with this?
Why did he either volunteered for it or was assigned it, and both of which are quite questionable.
I wonder if maybe you were right, that he is just holding out until he gets his chance. Like being as close as he can to the heart of the Garan regime until he gets his opportunity.
And then
BAM!
Then he takes, I don't mean like assassinate somebody.
Well, I didn't mean that either. I made a punching gesture, sure. But...
Right. But like until he finally has the opportunity to actually make things right, and the only way you can make things right is from the inside.
Okay. This trial is going to be the key to it.
Right.
So if he's legitimately trying, if he's trying to do all this to make Khura'in better, is he counting on Apollo to defeat him?
Yeah, he can, maybe he
but he
is.
Can't hold back,
yeah,
because that would be like too obvious.
I
he wouldn't
that's
be
right.
true to himself.
I think that's right. That he is counting on Apollo to win this, because that is in fact for the good of Khura'in. Dhurke doesn't have much longer to live, so I want to help him however I can. This time, it's our turn.
And Apollo included him.
I mean, this trial is Apollo's family.
Yeah.
It's a trial about how his father, and he has to find out about his real father and what that connection is.
Yeah.
But how his foster father, assassinated his foster mother? No.
Don't worry about those kind of details.
Anyway, the point is, it's all a family affair from top to bottom. You could have been killed, but you risked your life to save us. Why?
What a silly question. What father wouldn't risk his life to save his own children? Nahyuta, Apollo, don't you ever hesitate to call when you need me. Understand?
It's our turn to help Dhurke however we can. Actually softened his expression, no less.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And there he goes.
Uh-huh.
That glove that's always on his right hand that he always grips when he's in trouble.
Uh-huh.
A dragon never yields. The same hand that Dhurke's is on.
Uh-huh. And he's ashamed of it because he's kind of yielding with what he's doing, but he's bearing with it.
Yeah. I don't know if we'd actually talked about that before. I hadn't really thought about it at all. I mean, this topic, what's under Nahyuta's glove. But you're the one who brought it up one day. And
yeah, I think it was the last episode we talked about it.
I don't think so.
I might be wrong.
What you speak of is futile. Let it go. Squeeze, squeeze.
Uh-huh.
And move on. The guilty verdict. The hopelessness. You must resign yourself to it all. Clinging to false hope now will only serve to magnify your future despair. So, squeeze, squeeze. Just like me, let it go. And move on. And you know who hasn't let it go?
Him!
Well, that too, but Dhurke.
Dhurke hasn't let it go at all.
Nahyuta, are you really going to just roll over on this? Is it possible I'm completely misinterpreting your actions? I've no more time for idle chatter. I must prepare for tomorrow's trial. Now, if you'll excuse me.
We'll just have to settle this in court. Apollo, I sensed a whirlpool of emotions coming from within Prosecutor Sadmati just now.
Oh, even he was starting to have a hard time holding it all back, huh?
Anger, shock, bewilderment.
Bewilderment, huh? I mean, probably over Dhurke being sick, but...
And an icy sorrow, as deep and dark as an abyss.
Yeah, I picked up on that too. Looks like Dhurke really won't be the only one who will need my help tomorrow.
I think it's about time to pay Queen Garan another visit.
She sure is interesting for putting up with you bunch of foreign lawyers not licensed to practice in this country. Well, Although, maybe you can also make the claim that Apollo is not
That's
a
true.
foreign lawyer. Now he's a lawyer in another country and not this one, but that part clearly doesn't matter.
And ask her about her sister Amara.
So I guess Apollo has dual citizenship.
Just like dual destinies! I don't know, that's the best I got. That's a photo of Amara. And that baby she's holding, that must be Nahyuta.
It must be.
Oh, he's so cute. He looks just like a little girl.
Oh, you don't say!
You sure are good with numbers, son.